Okay, so look at the cross to the left and then try to identify the T on the right. And I think that everyone can see that it's much easier to see the T when it's by itself than when it's flanked by other letters. And this is the phenomenon on visual crowding, that the neighboring letters interfere with the main character. And this phenomenon has a great impact on how we read. When we read longer passages of text, the eye moves along the line of text in a series of saccades, in a series of jumps. And between these saccades, we have fixations where we actually read the text. But while we are fixating on the text, we have an attention on what is going on in the periphery. And this is important because we need to know where to jump, make the next jump. So we need sort of informed information of the optimal place to locate that fixation. So this is known as the perceptual span. So if we have a large perceptual span, basically we are fast readers. If we have a small perceptual span, we are slow readers. This means that if we can't see as much in the periphery, our reading speed will be declined. And we know a lot of low vision people, they have a small perceptual span, and they're also greatly affected by crowding. So the text is crowded in the periphery and they can't see it. The same is the case with children. Children typically have a small perceptual span and also affected by crowding. And also there's a great variability in when a child reaches adult level of visual perception. So that means that a 6-year-old child doesn't necessarily have the same vision or visual ability as another 6-year-old child. So reducing crowding in reading would be an advantage. So within object recognition literature, there's been a huge amount of literature in how we recognize objects, and that when we separate them, it's easier to see them. And this is a reduction of crowding, as you can see in this case also, again, if you look at the cross. And that effect obviously can be transferred to letters as well. So if we space the letters wider out, if we move them further apart, we reduce crowding in the text. Or if we add more space within the letters, we also reduce crowding, meaning that the different parts of the letters will not merge with each other, having more sort of space inside. So this we tested with low vision readers. And what we found was that these two cases of one expanding the font and one adding extra interletter spacing actually improve reading accuracy for these low vision patients known with the diagnosis of AMD. And we also looked at similar things on school children. And Readability Matters mentioned this study in the beginning, where we looked at both the spacing. We had these 3 different spacing settings. And we had also a different width to the letters. And note how small the differences are here. These are not extreme differences. These are still sort of within common font styles. We had 2 different tasks. So one was a word processing task where the child was asked to categorize words on the screen. And the other one was the Paasage task where we measured reading speed. And what we found here was that different children had there were different fonts that were the optimal for them. And basically they varied between the different font styles that we tested. But what we also found was that between the 2 tasks, this was not the same. So the same child did not read the best with the same font between 2 tasks. And then when we start looking at sort of the individual child, looking at the performing of the best font and performance of the worst font, there was a mean improvement between the worst and the best of 20% in reading speed. So that's actually quite a lot. So yes, just sort of to finish off, I think like others have said, I think things like this really indicates that there are huge implications to rethink the way we present text to the reader, that it doesn't have to be the same for all.